copies, every copy is not done on time, you will be punished. Yes, those things are there, but in online mode we are left you, we have leave you a little bit free. But it's not that I'm not reviewing who are submitting, who are not submitting, I am reviewing. Okay, so all the assignments I'm telling about, all the assignments. So it's up to you now. After that, you will not be able to tell me that ma'am did not help us for the examinations. If you prepare the assignments, you actually prepare for your own examination. Anyways, so with that, I had already end unit 2, and I told you that on Monday I'll start with unit 3. This is the second last unit, the longest unit. After that, one small unit will be there. So we are starting with perfect competition market today. You might have some idea about this market's forms also. So I would like to hear from you first. Anyone have any idea about perfect competition market? You can unmute and tell me. What do you mean by perfect competition market?
Ma'am, there are large number of buyers and sellers, and they sell
Hmm.
homogeneous products.
Hmm. Okay. Any example of perfect competition market?
This potato market, selling potatoes, different sellers selling potatoes.
Okay. Okay. So, in on a brief note, I would say that perfect competition is a market where there you will not find much difference in the products that are available in the market. Okay, and almost all sellers will have same price. It's not that one seller can set a higher price and still win in the market. So in this market, this is a normal market phenomena where large number of buyers and sellers will be present, and you will not find much difference in the products that are being sold in the market. Okay, and today we will study this perfect competition market in details. So what you can see on your screen is a site. I'm sharing this site in your chat box. You can copy this site for your reference, and again I will upload this site in the Moodle also. So a perfectly competitive market is a hypothetical market where competition is at its greatest possible level. Neoclassical economists argued that perfect competition would produce the best possible outcomes for consumers and the society. So it has a definition wise, if you go, this is a hypothetical market where assumptions are made and then implications are also predicted. So it is a hypothetical market where competition within the sellers is at its highest possible level. Okay. And according to the neoclassical economists of the times, they have said that this perfect competition form of the market would produce the best possible outcomes, not only for the consumers but also for the society as a whole. Why reason why they says this will be revealed if you study the key characteristics of this market. Okay, how this perfect competition is going to benefit not only the consumers but also the entire society, these characteristics will show. So the first ever characteristic says that these characteristics are very very important to learn. Okay, I will teach you 4 different types of markets, and you should be able to distinguish between the 4 types of market. Okay, do not confuse yourself. So read the characteristics properly of all these 4 types of markets. So we have started with perfect competition, and this characteristic says that there is perfect knowledge with no information failure or time lags in the flow of information. Knowledge is freely available to all the participants, which means that risk taking is minimal and the role of entrepreneur is limited. What is it said that in this type of market, everyone will have all type of information, like who is setting what price, whose customers are happy with the with what price, then what are the strategies that the sellers are using, everything, business model, method, entire technique of selling, everything will be easily available to all the participants who are there in the market. Okay, and it indicates that this risk taking is minimal. Because why minimal? Because when you know things that these are the information, these are the facts of this market, then you're automatically the risk taking um, behavior of you automatically gets limited. Because just a minute, huh? So when you have perfect knowledge about everything, when you know things, automatically your risk decreases, isn't it? And if you enter into such a market where you are innovating things, where you're creating new ideas, generating new ideas, then your risk is high. But in a market where you know everything, this is going to be the profit because these are the similar sellers who are operating here. Like as Saurav said, potato market. If you start selling potato, then you will know na that this is the price which I will have to set, then I'll have sell, and this is the area where I'll have to sit for selling the potato, like that. Okay. So you know everything. When you know everything, then you're automatically the risk taking nature of yours gets minimized. You don't have any risk out there. And the role of entrepreneur becomes limited because you cannot innovate things. You'll have a risk whether you will be accepted in the market or not. So the role of entrepreneur is limited in this type of market. Next is, given that producers and consumers have perfect knowledge, it is assumed that they make rational decisions to maximize their self-interest, and consumers look to maximize their utility, and producers look to maximize their profits. So since it is said that everyone will have perfect knowledge in this market, so it is assumed that both the consumers and the producers, that means the sellers of the product, will make rational decisions. And rational decisions mean logical decisions where they will seek for their own benefit. And what the consumers will look for, they will look to maximize their utility, their level of satisfaction after buying the product, isn't it? If you see potatoes have same price in the market, so obviously you will look for a particular seller who is giving you the best quality potato, which will not rotten, which is fresh, new, and also maybe he is giving you one extra potato for the same price. So what you are looking for, you're looking for maximizing your utility. And when the producers produce in this market, when they sell in this market, they will look to maximize their profits. Now they cannot maximize their profits by increasing the price. Okay, they will have to look out for ideas where they can minimize the cost and then increase the profit. Understood? Price, there is a restriction on setting of price. We will know it gradually in this discussion today itself. So what second characteristic said that both the consumers and the producers will look for enhancing their own utility. So the consumers will look to maximize their level of satisfaction, and the producers, just a minute, and the producers will look to maximize their profits, isn't it? Third characteristic says, third third characteristic says, uh, there are no barriers to entry. There are no barriers to entry into or exit out of the market. Anyone can come and start potato, can start selling potato in the market, and anyone can exit out of the market also. There is no such barrier because this is a market where a lot of sellers are there. So you can easily enter and easily exit also in this market. Then the next characteristic says farm produce homogeneous, identical units of output that are not branded. So, the example of potato, so similar type of product, identical also in the form. Seasonal potatoes you will get, all will be identical, and also that they are not branded, right? Potatoes, you will not see much branded potatoes in the market. Only if you go to supermarket, then you can find something like that, where people will put a tag on the potato packets, but still they are not branded, right? They all come from the farmer's field. So maybe from the same farmer's field also. Next one says each unit of input, such as units of labor, are also homogeneous. That means when the production is going on in the farm, then the unit of input, factors of production, you remember labor, if we say labor or capital or whatever in the short run, they will also be homogeneous for the different type, for all the products that are being sold in the market by different sellers. Okay, labors will also have to be homogeneous, otherwise you will not be able to set the same price as your competitors. Then it says no single firm can influence the market price or market conditions. The single firm is said to be a price taker, taking its price from the whole industry. The single firm will not increase its price independently, given that it will not sell any goods at all. Neither will the rational producer lower price below the market price, given that it can sell all that it produces at the market price. So this point is very, very important. Why? It says that no single firm will be able to influence the market price or the conditions of selling of the market. The single firm, if you talk about a single firm, that firm will be a price taker. That means at whatever price the product is being sold in the market, he will also have to sell in the same price. That means he is a price taker. Okay. The single firm will not increase its price independently, given that it will not sell any goods at all. Understood? If you same potato, same type of potato is being sold at say 20 rupees per kg, then if you set the price at 40 rupees per kg, or even say 22, 25, 21 also, then no one is going to buy, because the same product is available at a nominal price, at a single price, and all the sellers are selling it at 20 rupees. So why people will come and buy from you at 21 even? So the single firm will not increase its price independently, given that it will not sell any goods at all. Neither will the rational producer lower price below the market price, given that it can sell all it produces at the market price. Because if you know that you can sell at 20 rupees per kg, then producer will not lower the price also, because producer knows that he can sell the potato at 20 rupees per kg. So he will not lower the price also. Understood? Either way, it is not going to happen. Neither you are going to Neither the producer is going to increase the price nor he is going to decrease the price, because the 20 rupees per kg is the price of the in the industry, entire industry, and if you increase or decrease, then it is going to stop the selling process. And decrease also, it will give you sale, but the producer will not lower, because he knows that he can sell at 20, so why would he reduce? Next point says there are many farms in the market, too many to measure. This is a result of having no barriers to entry. Obviously, there will be many farms in the market who are selling potatoes, because, and the reason, prime reason being that there is no barriers to entry in such type of market. There is no need for government regulation except to make markets more competitive. If you want to make the market more competitive, you may have some government regulations implied on you. You may go for sometimes trademark. You may go for sometimes paying potato bills with GST mark. That if you don't want to do this, if you want to do this, you can do. In that case, the market will become more competitive. But there is no need for such government regulations in this market. Simple market, very simple. If you enter this market, you will know what you are going to earn, and based on that fact, you can simply enter the market. There is no much regulations that will stop you to sell the same product. Then there are assumed these are okay. There are assumed to be no externalities, that is, no external costs or benefits to third parties not involved in the transaction. So there will be no third parties in this market. But consumers and the producers only, they will be there, and no third party will also be paid any cost, will also not be paid any price. Okay, since they are not involved in the transaction directly from the producer or the seller, it is going to the consumer. Then firms can only make normal profits in the long run, although they can make abnormal or supernormal profits in the short run. So if you talk about the short run, then there will be chances of making supernormal or abnormal high profits. Okay, I'll show you the graphs, then this point will become clearer. But for now, you understand that for the in the short run, the firms can make not abnormal or supernormal profits also. But in the long run, the firms will only make normal profits. That means whatever profit the other firms are also earning. The firm as price taker. What is price taker? Okay, the single firm take its price from the industry, as I told you. You will not have, the producer or the seller will not have the right to set its own price. It will have to take the price from the industry, and is consequently referred to as a price taker. This form or this fact of the seller is called a price taker. The industry is composed of The industry is composed of all the firms. Last day I explained the difference between a company or a firm and the industry. So industry composed of all the firms within that particular sector. Right. Just a minute. And the market price. And what is the market price? Industry, you know that it composed of all the firms within that sector. And the market price is where market demand is equal to market supply. So market price will be set at a point where the demand will be exactly equal to the supply. Okay, I will explain the graph so that you understand this point better. Then each single firm must charge this price and cannot diverge from it. Okay, let us look at the diagram. Look at the diagram. First diagram, on the x-axis if you take quantity, and on the y-axis if you take price, And this is the demand graph and this is the supply graph. We started with this, right? When we started managerial economics, we started with this fact. The demand line is a downward sloping line and supply line is a upward sloping line. So once you draw both this demand and supply line, they meet at a point, right? And that point is called the equilibrium point, because here whatever is being demanded in the market is also supplied by the firms at this point. Now at this point, since you had taken price on the y-axis and quantity on the x-axis, then you have to identify the price level taking into consideration this equilibrium point. So what you have to do, you'll have to draw perpendiculars on the x-axis and on the y-axis. So on the x-axis, when you're drawing perpendicular from the equilibrium point, this is the point of the quantity of the output that is being sold, and it is sold at the price P. Okay. So this P is the price which is set by the industry, where demand is exactly equal to supply. This is the point of equilibrium. This is the price which shows that the demand and that the market is in equilibrium, where demand and supply is exactly equal. Okay. Then look at the diagram on the right hand side. This is for a single firm. And now you have to recall the looks of the average cost and marginal cost in the traditional theory. In the traditional theory, this marginal cost will cut the average cost from the below. So for the single firm, suppose you are taking output on the x-axis. No need to draw this diagram, okay? Just listen to me. When you take output on the x-axis and cost and revenue on the y-axis and draw the marginal cost and average cost curve, this point P is coming from where? This is coming from the previous diagram. That is the price set by the industry. From there, this point P has been located, and then you will draw a straight line on this. This is the price that the firm will take, because the firm is a price taker from the industry. So what we say, industry is the price maker. It sets the price at a level where demand is exactly equal to supply, and the firm is a price taker. It will take the price from the industry. Okay. And then all these facts where it is meeting the marginal cost. From there you will draw the perpendicular to identify the output level. All those will also come. So are you understanding the fact that the industry will set the price, and this price only have to be taken by the single firm that is operating within that industry? Okay. Now let us study this in detail. These things are very important. Okay, equilibrium in perfect competition, in both in the short run and long run, we'll have to study. So, as a moment ago I told you, in the short run, under perfect competition, firms have a chance to make supernormal profits or even losses. Okay, how this is done, that has been explained. That has been shown over here. These explanations are not in detail actually. Okay, this part I will start tomorrow. I'll show a different link where you will have the proper explanation of the diagram, because you need to write also, no? Once I go on discussing, you will forget if you don't write. But here, the diagrams are not explained properly. So, I will teach you this part tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow I think there will be no class. So, day after tomorrow, I will teach you this part. Okay. Have you understood the characteristics today? Please unmute and tell.
Yes, ma'am.
We have done, yes, the characteristics today of perfect competition. That is very important, huh? You may be asked to write the characteristics of perfect competition market. Then you will have to write all these points. Just a minute, I'll take attendance. You will unmute and respond, okay? We'll have a new set of routine within few days where you're going to have only 2 classes each day, but the classes will be of 1 hour, I think. 1 hour classes every day, 2 classes, so 2 hours. Now you're stuck for 3 hours, no? So it will be reduced to 2 hours. Are you all participating in Ethnic Day or not? Tell me, who is participating in Ethnic Day?
Miss, I am participating.
Who is this?
Miss Swati,
Swati. You're in which club?
I'm in Mickey.
Okay. Anyone from Club Rua? From Club Rua? Anyone? Okay. All of you should participate in the Ethnic Day, okay? This time it is not going to happen so gloriously as it used to happen, but still it will be glorious. So please try to participate. Now respond please. Abhay, Aditya, Alsaba, Aman Goel, Aman Sharma, Ananta, Angela,
Present, ma'am.
Anish, Anisha,
Present, ma'am.
Ankit, Anmol Gupta, Anmol Lama, Bhavesh, Bikash,
Present, ma'am.
Vishwadeep, Charu, Chirag, Sarthak,
Present, ma'am.
Girish, Himani,
Present, ma'am.
Jaya, Ashish, Meghna,
Present, ma'am.
Mehul, Parveen,
Present, ma'am.
Muskan Agarwal 21, Muskan Agarwal 59, Neha, Nikhil,
Present, ma'am.
Nishita, Nupur, Piyush, Pragati,
Present, ma'am.
Prageshwar, Prashant, Pratham, Preeti, Poonam, Ronak Majhi,
Yes, ma'am.
Ravi,
Present, ma'am.
Riyant, Riya Lama, Rohan Somani, Ronak Agarwal,
Yes, ma'am.
Sahil Agarwal,
Present, ma'am.
Shama, Srishti, Sneha.
Yes, ma'am. Srishti.
Sneha, Saurabh Sharkar,
Present, ma'am.
Saurabh Agarwal, Srishti, Suhana,
Present, ma'am.
Sujit,
Present, ma'am.
Sumit,
Present, ma'am.
Swati,
Present, Miss.
Swayam, Tanya, Yash, Vyashika, Shreya.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Excuse me, ma'am.
everyone.
Excuse me,
Yes,
ma'am. Ma'am,
Ma'am, Agrawal.
ma'am, I missed my attendance. Ankit Dhania.
Ankit. Okay, I have actually submitted. Okay, you just remind me tomorrow once again, huh? Or if
Ma'am,
you are
you can.
absent one day,
Okay.
I will mark you present.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Nupur to I have given. Nupur I saw present, so I have given.
Ma'am.
Okay, bye bye. Then see you on Wednesday again. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.